Mises versus Keynes, Battle of the Century. The intellectual clash between Ludwig von Mises and John Maynard Keynes represents one of the most significant debates in economic history, a philosophical duel over the nature of markets, money, government, and the path to prosperity. From an Austrian perspective, Mises stands not only as a critic of Keynesianism, but as a defender of the principles of sound money, individual choice, and free markets. Foundations and philosophies. Ludwig von Mises, a central figure in the Austrian School of Economics, believed that markets are best left undisturbed, operating through voluntary exchanges driven by subjective value. Human action, purposeful behavior was, for Mises, the cornerstone of economic theory. His magnum opus, Human Action, outlines a deductive, praxeological approach, asserting that economic laws are universal and not subject to empirical manipulation. Keynes, on the other hand, introduced a revolutionary approach during the Great Depression. In his General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, 1936, Keynes argued that aggregate demand, not individual choice, was the primary driver of economic activity. When demand falters, government must intervene with fiscal stimulus, public spending, deficits, and low interest rates to boost consumption and employment. Money, credit, and the boom-bust cycle. For Mises and the Austrian tradition, artificial manipulation of credit by central banks is the root cause of economic cycles. In The Theory of Money and Credit, 1912, Mises explained how bank-created credit leads to unsustainable booms, particularly in capital-intensive sectors. Eventually, reality catches up, malinvestments are revealed, and a bust follows, a necessary correction of previous errors. Keynes dismissed the Austrian view of boom-bust cycles. He saw recessions as failures of aggregate demand, not misallocations of capital. According to Keynesian policy, recessions are to be met with increased government expenditure and monetary easing, even at the cost of inflation or public debt. From the Austrian perspective, this is both morally and economically hazardous. Mises warned that stimulus policies distort price signals and prolong necessary corrections. Inflation, a common side effect of Keynesian policy, erodes savings, punishes prudence, and benefits debtors at the expense of creditors. The Austrians argue that the business cycle cannot be eliminated with paper money. It can only be made worse. Government versus market. Keynesians view government as a stabilizer and insurer against economic volatility. Mises, however, believed state interference, especially in money and credit, is the very cause of economic disorder. The Austrian critique goes beyond mere economics. It's a defense of individual liberty against collectivist tendencies. The free market, not the state, is the most effective means of coordinating human wants, legacy, and relevance. While Keynesianism dominated post-World War II economic policy and remains influential today, particularly in times of crisis, Austrian ideas have seen resurgence, especially after the 2008 financial crisis. The Austrian school's warnings about unsustainable credit expansion and the dangers of fiat money echoed loudly during the collapse of housing and financial markets. From the Austrian perspective, the battle of the century is not just a historical debate. It is an ongoing ideological war between two visions of society, one based on state control and short-term fixes, and the other on individual liberty, sound money, and long-term stability. Mises may not have won the political battle during his lifetime, but his ideas continue to inspire those who seek a principled foundation for economic freedom.